Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening day of the Mobafire Challenger Series. I'm Forecourt Jester, and with me is Rapid Casting, and we'll be broadcasting to you live here on Twitch TV/MCS Esports.
Each week, 14 of the best Challenger teams from across North America will fight for their spot in the playoffs. Now, the stakes are high because these teams are battling for a total prize pool of $10,000.
Now, only the top 8 teams will advance to the playoffs, so every single game counts. Each week, teams will face off against each other from the league in a best-of-1 for an opportunity to move up in the standings. But before we get into our first match, let's take a look at the teams who made it here today.
All right, first off, right off the bat, our Complexity, a team formerly in the LCS, now relegated out, but still with an incredibly strong lineup. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on them, as they are expected to do quite well. And next up are the guys from Exertus Zeal. Exertus Esports have been around for a while, recently picked up a couple of League of Legends teams. This is kind of the best of the best as far as their League of Legends roster. Kind of leading off the lineup will be their AD carry, the Swinging Salt, formerly of Team Solo Q. You might know that from being the Rain Man's team. Next up is Aware Gaming, formerly known as the Salad Bar. They're crushing through Go for Lols. They're kind of the normal game fun police, and have tried to qualify for a number of LCS qualifications. So make sure to kind of check them out and keep an eye on them, because they definitely have the ability to upset some of the top teams. Well, not only in the Mobafire Challenger Series, but well, they've done it against the very best. Coming up will be a team that you'll see featured in our first match today, and that is New World Eclipse. We'll see them versus Curse Academy here in just a minute. But they're a little bit of a new team, kind of a wild card, but impressive results so far. They placed third in the ESL Pro Series, beating out Cloud9 in their only defeat of the entire tournament. So they're they're known for being the old Azure Gaming roster, so definitely kind of a heavy mantle to carry. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on them. Next up is going to be the guys from Reality Check Gaming. This is going to be Fragnatic, Aaron, X-Shepherd, Bubba and Tofu Shift. A little bit new, but they did attempt to qualify in both the MLG qualifiers and Summer LCS qualifiers, so you've definitely seen their name before. Next up will be the other team that you guys will see in the very first matchup today. It's Curse Academy. They probably one of the most storied teams here in this league. It's going to be Alltech, their new jungler, Captain Tran, Pobelter in the mid lane, Atomic N, and Rux, a guy you've probably seen a little bit of along the way. Next in line is GGLA, that's Gold Gaming Los Angeles, a team led by their fearless leader Umashi, with a hand-picked team of some of the best solo queue players you could find. Definitely a team that's presented some pretty impressive standings, not only in some of the other North American Challenger tier tournaments, but also hopefully in this one. Next is Wasabi Gaming, a team that's well, you've probably seen play in just as many Challenger Tier qualifiers. It's Nothing Here, formerly of Absolute Legends, Captain Ziploc, Zamfira, formerly of Monomaniac, Prophet, and iDream to round out their roster. Team Summon, you guys know them mostly for going up against Team Dignitas in their battle for LCS in the summer split. They are Slacko, Stickle Scott, Captain Korea, Locust, formerly of Team Dignitas, and Flares will be playing a little bit later on, so definitely make sure to catch their games next week. Denial Esports, formerly known as One Trick Ponies, and I believe also as Double Buff, will also be present here in the Mobafire Challenger Series, as well as some of the, well, probably more well-known teams, such as FX Open. We've got Robert X. Lee, Heaven Time, Arthalon, Nidus Remain, and Westrice. You guys got a chance to see them at MLG, and we'll get a chance to see them here in the Mobafire Challenger Series, so a lot of fans and a lot of hype surrounding them. As well as Complexity, there's also Complexity Academy competing in the MCS, formerly known as Armada Gaming, a team from Canada. They're looking to bring their lineup here and see if they can't outdo the original Complexity roster. Then rounding things out are a couple of the newer teams, Team Tower Dive and Team Tempest. A lot of tease going on here, but definitely looking to make a name for themselves here. Team Tempest, formerly the old, I believe it was Pulse Esports roster. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on them. And that's going to do it for the 14 teams that are going to make up the Mobafire Challenger Series here in this season.
So now that you guys know the teams, let's hit the rift. Let's take a look at who's going to be facing off in our first day of competition. So our first game that is almost ready to go. All the team are both here in the lobby, and we are going to get this going. 6 o'clock PST, New World Eclipse up against Curse Academy. After that, we're going to be jumping into Tower Dive TV versus Gold Gaming Los Angeles. Then Team Tempest up against Wasabi. And then finishing it off will be Complexity Academy versus Exertus Seal, and Denial Esports versus Reality Check Gaming. So once again, you are watching the Mobafire Esport Challenger League, and we're going to get this rolling. But, you know, I think we have some viewer interaction things to do today, Mr. Rapid.
You know what? Make sure to go ahead and not only check out the things being posted on the MCS Facebook and Twitter, but if you guys interact with there, like, comment, make sure to make your presence known. We'll be giving away a ton of prizes from, well, our wonderful sponsors. And we have some Fatality gear, some Razor gear that we're giving away, some of their highest quality stuff. So if you guys want a chance to win that, just go ahead and interact with MCS Esports on Facebook and Twitter. You guys can get a chance to win some fabulous prizes. Prizes are great though, games are great too. We're about to hop into our first game of the MCS season.
Alright, so on your left hand side, Curse Academy going up against New World Eclipse. Not New World Order, not New World anything else, New World Eclipse. JD Woo gonna be there, team captain on the purple side, and you know, we already got some of these picks and bans going through. Draven, Aatrox, and Jayce gonna be out of the pool. Elise, Nunu, Twisted Fate. Not really too surprised about a Nunu ban, Mr. Rapid.
All right, well, JD Woo has requested that I refer to him as 420 Blaze Ganja King 69. I will not be doing that, but as far as the rest of the team, they have not made such unreasonable requests, so we're just going to go with their regular names, along with Captain Tran, who will be subbing in here for I Will Dominate, as he has retired. The original plans were to use Cloud Titus, but Captain Tran, hey, he's available. He's played in a lot of tournaments, attempted to qualify for IEM with a couple of teams, but is now here on the Curse Academy roster. First pick for Rux will right off the bat be a Thresh, one of the strongest supports nowadays, and following things up with possibly a mid lane Zyra, but we could also see that in the support role where it's a little bit more common. And JD Woo going ahead and grabbing out his Jarvan, which he definitely is pretty comfortable on.
Yeah, Jarvan, the flag and drag, the typical gap closing, bring everyone under our AoE umbrella kind of champion. Gets through that jungle fairly quick, can actually be pretty mobile, jumping up and down cliffs, through walls, all that fun stuff. Now, Zyra, you say possibly mid. I'm always thinking first impression's going to be a support. Going to have to see what these next two picks are going to be. But Kennen, top lane, jungle, Nasus possibly. You know, it's looking good so far for Curse Academy.
Nasus, one of the strongest junglers that I Will Dominate used to play. Turns out they have that in common with Captain Tran. Loves to run that, but don't forget, Rux is one of the only top laners who actually plays Nasus in the top lane. I think Voyboy being the other one who's done it in professional play. Can't remember exactly which tournament that was, but he's definitely done it before. So you know, don't sleep on that. It can definitely go up there. The Kennen pick, extremely strong. That's a little bit more likely for a top lane or possibly even a mid lane Kennen, although Pobelter can play pretty much anything.
Yeah, just throw Doran's Blade on any lane at this point. That seems to be the evolving meta. If you guys have been checking out the LCS EU over the weekend, one team at some point had 6 Doran's Blades. And these days, you know, with a Kennen in it solo, typically you do get that Doran's Blade just to help out with the last hitting, a little bit of extra auto attack damage. Goes well with your W if you can stack it up as well. But either way, Vayne going to come out for the bottom lane. So again, possibly that Vayne Zyra. There's a lot of control you can do with a Zyra that can line up a lot of kills there for Vayne, especially near the edges of those walls where you can just kind of tumble out, condemn, and then just let the true damage start ticking away. But Zed, very likely the mid lane. That's my vote at this point, but we're going to have to see what we're going to respond with here for Curse Academy.
Probably the biggest thing to notice will be the Draven ban. Virus was an only Draven player for the longest time. Also very well known for playing Twitch, so he's definitely used to carrying his teams. You know, with a Vayne, that's definitely his hope here today. Now, Shousters has been seen in competitive play before, formerly of VVV Gaming, I believe. It's going to be here, that's NWE Shao right there. He's probably going to be playing that Zed in the mid lane, but like I said, could switch things up and go with a Zyra. It's just going to be up to this last pick for New World Eclipse, but that does mean we have the entire roster there for Curse Academy, closing things out with a Caitlyn and a Diana.
So trying to get off that big poke with that big long range atomic and bottom lane, or whoever is going to be in the bottom lane with the Caitlyn. It's a really good pickup against Vayne because she does have that shortened attack range. You can definitely get off some nice sweet headshots as you're CSing. Can definitely do some damage, especially since we do have that Zyra now. Unless we're going to go with something more of a defensive bot lane, but no, it is going to look like going to be that Zyra in the support role. There's no real defensive mechanics that she can throw out there other than just immobilizing out the Caitlyn or the Thresh. And again, you got to keep in mind, Thresh, with that hook, can definitely lead into some interesting situations for Caitlyn to start stacking up that damage. Last pickup here going to be that Gragas, so I'm going to say they're going to swap that out. Yeah, Cass is going to take that, probably top, and Gragas in the mid. I am a personal fan of Gragas mid, so I'm extremely happy with the way this game has sorted itself out.
All right, now, if you guys are new to New World Eclipse, here's what you need to know about them. I already talked a little bit about Virus and Shoutsters. JD Wu, also formerly of Monomaniac Esports, he played on one of their rosters. I think it was their Eternus roster for a while, but he's been around in the scene for a very long time. Huang and Quas are a little bit newer. They were picked up from solo queue and very, very, popular, not necessarily in solo queue, but because they were very up-and-coming players. Here on New World Eclipse, like I mentioned, they placed third, going up against teams like Velocity and Cloud9. They gave Cloud9 their only defeat in EPS last season, so they can definitely go toe-to-toe with the best. We're into our 3-minute spectator delay, so we'll be right back after a short break.
No, not yet. We're going to look at picks and bans before we do anything there, sir.
All right, well, there's definitely plenty to look at. I already talked about Draven. Is there anything else you see besides an Aatrox ban? Probably just because Curse don't want to go up against that champion.
I'm actually just going to make sure that we're not running any kind of funny business in terms of masteries and runes and all that, but server is defeating me in this regard, so... Yeah. Other than that, though, guys did get to see the summoner spells. So, the jungles, it will be Jarvan, will be that Nasus in the jungles at that point. And, you were talking about the team that could take a game off of Cloud9. We all know how good Cloud9 is these days. Top king of the LCS NA. And retrieving from server can just go jump off a cliff, it seems. There we go. Rux Curse, 30-0-0. This is kind of what I wanted to look at. 30-0-0 top lane Kennen.
All right, well, I've definitely seen this build before. It was popularized right when Kennen started to come back into the scene. There's this one Korean player, and I wish I could remember his name, and if somebody in chat can do that for me, then go for it. He ran 30-0-0 Kennen, and people are like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. A, nobody plays Kennen, and B, it's 30-0-0. You have to go like 21-9 something, right? And the answer is no. You can do whatever you want. That's exactly what Rux is going to do here today. Definitely kind of going all out for the damages. Definitely capable of dishing him out.
Yeah, I looked at Cass, 14-16-0, so a little bit more defensive. He is going to be that solo top lane, so going a little bit more defensive is not always a bad idea. 21-0-9, however, there for Pull Belter mid. Nothing really else just kind of standing out as of yet, so just going to complete looking around. We will be doing a quick cut to our sponsors, however, our sponsors being Fatality, I Buy Power, as well as the Razor Academy. If you have checked out any of the Razor Academy stuff, they do a lot of guide work, a lot of how-to videos, because they have so many teams under their contract, so many pros, and what's the best way to learn from these games? It's to learn from the pros. So yeah, Razor Academy, check them out, and of course I Buy Power has been supplying a lot of PCs to a lot of these pro teams. So without further ado, we're going to cut to that. When we get back, Curse Academy up against New World Eclipse. We'll see you soon. Or XSplit will troll me. And ladies and gentlemen, we are into the loading screen. Curse Academy taking on the New World Elite. Game number 1 of the week 1, day 1 here in the MCS Esports. I'm the Foreguard Jester, with me the Rapid Casting, and it's truly an honor to be here in the Challenger League. So many people are always asking, why don't we see more Challenger League out there? And Mobafire, they said, alright, we're going to step that up. We're going to do a Challenger League. We're going to do, I think it was 8 weeks, 10 weeks, top 8 teams, $10,000. So big props to them. And yeah, you should make sure you follow that channel. Go over to the website. I know that we put a lot of work into the website, mcsesports.com, and just give them your feedback. Say thanks for running such a wonderful league, and we're into the game. So, Mr. Rapid, what are we seeing?
We are here on the Rift for our first game of the season. There's going to be 7 weeks of action. Pobelter in the mid lane for Curse Academy. Kind of checking things out. I definitely saw all of New World ECLIPSE walk into that lower brush. There is a ward down there, and though they had the opportunity, Chris not quite able to take that out. So overall, a very defensive start. Pretty reciprocal, as you do see 2 wards there on either side of the mid lane. And looks like maybe a little bit of an aggressive Wraith ward to be placed down here by Curse Academy.
Yeah, both teams actually can see the other at this point, and as you can see, a little bit of a reciprocal jungle invade going in, although, yeah, not entirely too sure they actually want to be sticking around. They're more just doing their scouting thing. Again, both of them know exactly where they are. Maybe a mid-clash coming up, but with this such defensive mind coming in. Game number 1, it is best of ones, right? You got to put your best foot forward here in order to get those league standing points. Not entirely too sure we're going to see an engage.
All right, probably just going to be a little bit more of a passive start. You notice that, hey, both teams know exactly where the other is, and especially with that red ward down there at the, or with the blue ward rather, pink ward just being placed out, tried to clear out a little bit of vision, but some advanced warding tactics here by New World ECLIPSE to place their ward in the other bush by red buff will still give them vision of that lower jungle. So we are going to see probably a double golem start here with Altec on the top again in the bottom lane for Curse Academy. Pobelter's already in lane, just going to go ahead and maybe shove this a little bit early on, as we don't have either Shousters or Quas in their respective solo lane. Got a dual lane up top, so we will be seeing a 1v2. Just kind of changing things up here a little bit. So either way, we're going to have some solo lanes and even dual lane top, kind of late to lane.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we actually knew that was happening, because we did do the counter ward up by the jungle, up by the Jarvan red. Did that tell Curse Academy that they are going to be having to expect this 2-on-1 situation? And if so, they didn't seem to actually change their game plan for it. So it looks like that they're okay with it. Quas actually going to land a little bit of damage. Pobelter able to return it, no problem. But it is actually not Gragas in the mid, so I'm going to change that there on the scoreboard. He's going to be doing this 2v1 bottom lane, and Gragas, fairly safe when it comes to a 2v1. He has an escape mechanism with his body bounce, and he can farm from lane with his cast, and of course every time he does chug out a spell, every time he does chug up his mana, he gets health back for it as well.
And this is actually kind of a reaction to what a lot of teams have been doing, saying, hey, we have solo laners, not mid laners or top laners. Shousters usually plays mid for NWE. Well, now he's here in the bottom lane. And that may actually also be to kind of switch things up, because you look at the lineups when you're loading in, you're like, hey, Shousters is mid, Gragas mid, that's how we're setting things up. NWE kind of changing things up a little bit, and looking for maybe even a dive here. Captain Tran coming around behind the turret. Can Shousters get out in time? He does not have body slam skilled, so level 2, this actually could be a pretty easy kill.
Yeah, that's going to be the flash to get on out of that. Oh no, the creep got in the way of Atomic End's hook, but it does not matter. The long range damage coming from Outtech as we dive behind the first tower, almost to the second, in order to grab that kill. And now we do have Tran not leaving bottom, which means we could be seeing an extremely early tower kill.
Yeah, instead of going for the actual champion kill, New World Gaming ECLIPSE are just going to go for the turret. And you can actually see in the bottom lane, that's actually what Curse Academy are going to do as well. The only difference is they actually got a kill out of it, so a little bit of gold advantage there, and first blood going to them. Will we actually see this top turret go down, though? Rux dishing out some damage, but he definitely knows that he should probably back out here. Looks like the minion wave will arrive just in time, and there's the counter turret kill. 4 minutes, 2 turrets already down.
Yeah, 1 tower apiece at 4 minutes. Not something that you see every day, but because we did have that bottom lane advantage, we're going to go straight from the tower right here into the dragon. This could be a sub 5-minute dragon as long as we can juggle this out correctly. Outtech with that Doran's Blade will be able to do a lot of damage, and Tran with the red and the blue, they're just going to be juggling off these hit point values. The thing is, we have absolutely no idea this is going down, and we're going to see a dragon at 4 minutes, 37 seconds here, game 1 of the MCS Esports.
And this is actually kind of a downside to NWE's strategy of going for this 2v1 in the top lane. You lose pressure bottom lane, and when Curse Academy went for the solo kill in that 3-man dive, they actually just freed out completely the entire bottom half of the map. What's there? Oh wait, Dragon and a turret, and they took down both of them. This is actually reminiscent of when I Will Dominate was on the team. They were just saying, hey, we can play super aggressive, always knowing when to push their advantages and how to push them well, most effectively. I gotta say, it doesn't get much more effective than a Dragon and a turret by 5 minutes.
Now, something I just noticed, Gragas going back to the mid lane, but he is virtually powerless up against Pobelter. Level 5 compared to the level 2 Shroud, now level 3. That is a difference that could be easily leading into a second kill for the Curse Academy at this point. But Altec, they're going to be going mid with Atomic N, and they're going to be putting on even more pressure on the towers of New World Eclipse.
All right, well, when we look at tower pressure, we saw that very early on. Ooh, actually, a Death Sentence lands on a Shousters, gives him a nice Q coming out from Caitlyn, but not a whole lot. When we were looking at the very early pressure, we saw very early tower pushes, but what we didn't see to follow that up was any sort of, I guess, aggressive warding to follow that up. When you ward aggressively, you say, hey, we're going to be here for a while, and we're looking to make plays off of our presence. Pobelter, though, just now hitting 6 in the bottom lane versus Virus. Virus going to chunk him down really low, but he's going to go in.
Yeah, he's going to exchange a lot of damage here, but again, you know, Vayne, that true damage does stack up every third shot, especially this early in the game, will definitely return with interest. Now, we also had this 3-man in the mid, just trying to put up counter pressure here in the mid. Rux, however, losing out in a duel up the top, but no, it's going to be Vayne, and Vayne, she gets off that condemn, doesn't matter. There's an ignite. Pobelter wins.
Condemned Pobelter into the brush and lost line of sight on him. Wasn't able to get the job done. And then Pobelter's Ignite taking down the kill after burning Vayne's Flash. So Virus burns both of his summoners there. And Pobelter still has Flash up and the gold from getting that kill. Keep in mind, in the top lane, Quas actually almost took out Aatrox, who is running, like you mentioned, that 30-0-0 Kennen page. Almost took him out, and that's going to mean a little bit of extra gold and level advantage here for Quas up there. But keep in mind, Rux coming back. He's only level 5, but he does have a completed Seeker's Arm Guard and Doran's Blade. A lot of potions, so that could be rough for Quas to deal with if he doesn't go back.
Yeah, 30-0-0 does not really lend you to a lot of sturdy frameworks, especially when you're going up against, you know, a lot of big burst damage like Zed. But Altec here, 1-on-2 in the mid, is able to just push them back. And again, like pressure mid, we have team fights going down top, team fights going down bottom. There's a lot of aggression this early on, and now the red steal coming out as Captain Tran takes that away from Jarvan.
Oh my goodness, yeah, stealing that away. Captain Shran has been doing a really good job across this game, just being exactly where his team needs him to be. This sort of coordinating, you can already see the team play converting into so many objectives. Bottom turret, Dragon, now taking down a mid turret, or they would if there were actually minions there to back them up. So a little bit of a delay to their plans, but you do have the reaction immediately from New World Eclipse, coming there to the mid lane, looking to try to have the wave clear. I mean, with Gragas and Jarvan combined there with Zyra, they have what it takes. I'm just not sure the turret can withstand it.
No, I don't think JD actually cares about that. He's going to go in with the flag and drag. Out comes the lantern. Nobody there to actually grab it, but Koss lands a lot of damage there on top of Atomic as JD Wu tries to get the last auto attack. Will have to Q it. Does grab the kill. However, Curse Pobelter now going to be extremely low. This might be the counter kill on top of JD Wu, and it will be as Pobelter takes him down with that Crescent Strike. Altec still, you know, from range, able to do a lot of this big damage, and because Zed went mid, Rux is now proxy farming top and putting the pressure on this tower.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Curse Academy knowing how to get the most out of any advantage. Taking turret shots for Altec probably not going to be the answer to that, but that will be the turret going down. After he takes a couple more just for kicks, I guess. Top lane, we're talking about Rux proxy farming and taking down the turret. It's like, hey, there's no laner in my lane. I can't help out my team. They don't need my help, so I'm just going to do as much damage as I can up top lane. Takes the turret down to about 800 HP. While the rest of his team take down the mid and lay out those 3 Caitlyn traps down there. So it's 3-1 in kills, 2-1 in turrets, and a 3.2 thousand gold lead for Curse Academy before 10 minutes.
Now, Pobelter was trying a cheeky trick. He actually flashed over the wall into the race, tried to get off the Crescent Slash to get the last hit on top of Zyra. Unfortunately, there was a whole bunch of wraiths there, so he had to make a hasty exit. Did not actually grab the kill either, but again, lots of flashes being burned out before the 10-minute mark. A lot of aggression coming out from both teams as well. Down 2 towers, New World ECLIPSE. Now, they got to kind of rethink their strategy, saying, all right, well, we're clearly losing out these tower pushes. I'm curious to see if they're going to try to stall. But something that they haven't had in these team fights is their ADC. So while Caitlyn has been mid, pushing towers, long-range harass, it's been Virus in the bottom lane virtually being isolated with all that farm, and as you can see his last hits, they are not suffering whatsoever.
Alright, well, we got Rux and Pobelter up in the top lane, going deep, going hard,
Wow.
and going out with the kills, so...
He absolutely melted under that pressure, but slicing Maelstrom into Pobelter's Moonfall and Crescent Strikes, that's going to be yet another tower, and that gold lead is only getting bigger, Mr. Rapid.
Man, Curse, they definitely have some dive buddies going on. First, this time it was Rux and Pobelter in the bottom lane. It was that 3-man dive to start off for first blood for Curse Academy. Now, Virus has been farming decently well. He is at 81 CS versus just the 78, well, once he kills that minion. There we go, for Altec. But the young Altec has that thing called a kill and a team around him who are also kind of crushing things down. A 3-0 Pobelter is also going to mitigate Vayne's damage in team fights just by pressuring him so hard. Dragon number 2 going down here at the 10-minute mark, which is already early for the first Dragon. Once again, going to go over to Curse Academy, and the objective control is just absolutely incredible from Curse.
I don't think we've had the red buff. Like, we got the first jungle buffs there for Jarvan. He didn't get his second red because that was stolen out. 2 dragons now going the way of Curse Academy as well. Not entirely too sure about the blue, but at this rate of objective control, it's not looking good for the future now coming up for New World ECLIPSE. Mid lane, however, again, we're just not letting up this tower pressure. They are getting pushed back more and more, and with this gold lead increasing, and you saw exactly how quickly Jarvan melted top lane, team fights are going to get extremely hard for New World ECLIPSE to actually, just commit to.
Yeah, when you saw the way that the game opened, New World ECLIPSE knew they had to respond by taking the turret just because, hey, Curse Academy took a turret. Mid lane, the ultimate going out there. Body slam does not land, but Jarvan going in onto Pobelter.
And that's going to be the Cataclysm on top of things. JD Woo's gonna drop. Captain Tran is there to pick up that kill, but it was Zed able to just shut down Pobelter. That's going to be a killing spree bonus going to him, so a lot of good cash sorely needed at this point going their way. That will stop the aggression mid. We did have the ADC and support bottom lane, kind of where they're supposed to be at this stage of the game on a typical game, but 12 minutes in and we're already down those 3 towers. There has been a lot of roaming, and again, like, the last hits for Caitlyn are starting to get just a little bit outshined here by Virus, who has done virtually, again, nothing but sitting in this lane, farming up those last hits. Let's look at his gold. 1,700 gold to his name, but because of 2 dragons and 3 towers, the global gold just puts Caitlyn so far ahead at this point.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing to notice right now for Curse Academy, it seems like they're devastatingly far ahead. Really, it's only in that mid lane. Everything else pretty even across the board as far as supports, AD carries, junglers, and even top laners. Nobody's really been too shut down. So all NWE need to do right now is just group up, force an objective. The only problem is that is what Curse Academy has been doing from minute 1. You've seen them take down all of those objectives, dragons, turrets. It's 5-2 right now, and there's a 5,000 gold lead, and it's all because of those objectives, not necessarily just because of the 3 kill difference.
Now, I'm a little afraid, because at this point, Rux, he has 500 gold in his inventory, but he already has the 2 major components for a Zhonya's. If we could see a sub 15-minute Zhonya's coming out of our Kennen, I just can't imagine the tower dives we're going to be witness to pre-20-minute mark. And again, New World ECLIPSE, they're just really on the back foot at this point. They're being pushed right into the jungle. The ward control is pretty exceptional as well from Curse Academy coming out. You got wards just all on over all the jungle at this point, and they're keeping a really good idea of where New World ECLIPSE is at any one point.
In the top lane, Kennen taking a lot of harass, so I don't think Rux is actually going to be able to do much. In the bottom lane, Virus, though, going in onto Altec, tried to bait him out there. Altec just backs off, gets a nice 90 caliber net, and throws out the ultimate just to say, hey, I really wish you would not try to kill me. Virus, though, getting caught up by Pobelter.
Yeah, but 2 summoners later, Pobelter made that almost worth it. If he had gotten the kill plus the 2 summoners, would have been exceptional for his case. But we saw him coming down, but the rest of the team just wasn't there in order to do that support. But we did have a lot of New World ECLIPSE just kind of in chase there of Pobelter. So maybe getting a little bit too haughty about the game at this point. They're like, we're so far ahead, I can just kill him down, no problem. And so because of that, we can't get the blue. Nice Lantern escape, though. But Atomic End, again, like this early on, Oracles as well. I mean, again, the ward control was really going towards Curse Academy. Not entirely too sure why Pobelter, did engage, but I just really think he thought he could just one-shot Vayne.
Yeah, the outplays there. Virus living with 0 HP and then the barrier on top of that. So it's just really, really good micro from him, able to not only get the Impale off, forcing the early extra ultimate there from Pobelter, allowed him to disengage. And the rest of his team, perfect follow-up from NWE, really kind of making Pobelter pay for getting a little bit too greedy.
So again, pre-15-minute Zhonya's has been accomplished there for Rux. 100 creeps to his name, 1 assist, and again, a lot of global gold going the way of Team Curse Academy. So yeah, when we do get into these big team fights, we're going to get those slicing maelstroms off. Pobelter, he's going to have his Zhonya's in fairly short order. In fact, if he'd probably gotten that kill on Vayne, probably would have had it. But he's going to have to wait out a little bit in terms of that. But yeah, double Zhonya's going in, big dive comps coming out. Then you got Nasus to get in there with his AoE, the tankiness of it all. And then just for the kicks, Atomic N and the box. The team fight is looking extremely good for Curse Academy. I'm just curious to see if we have enough disengage coming out from Real World Eclipse to handle this imbalance of gold.
Well, what Curse Academy are going for their team composition, they want an AD carry who can kind of sit in the back, and then the rest of it is all straight up dive. You're not going to be able to avoid fighting Curse Academy. You may be able to pick where you fight them, but they are definitely going to go for the aggression. The only problem for them is that New World Eclipse actually have a lot of disengage. They have the Gragas ultimate, they have Jarvan to lock people up, as well as Strangle Thorns from Zyra, and all of that can kind of punish you for diving too hard underneath those turrets. The only problems are, like you mentioned, the Zhonya's hourglasses are going to be really key at dropping turret aggro and sort of tanking things up under those turrets.
What is this? 16-minute Baron? Yeah, no problem.
What am I watching here? You'll notice that Altec was actually trade tanking that. That means that the closest unit to Baron actually gets its AD reduced. You'll notice Altec has 89 attack damage right now, and even Captain Tran taken down dangerously, though. I don't actually think this is going to be necessarily the most viable strategy, but with the rest of the team backing up to the Baron, it will have the prerequisite hit points to tank things up. There goes Baron Nashor at 16 minutes. And 30 seconds.
We had a whole bunch of pings in the bottom lanes. Like, guys, they're off the map. We don't know where they are. Vayne, just be safe. Get back here. Vayne comes back. Doesn't matter. They had absolutely no idea Baron was going down, and they're going to be in for a surprise. Okay, never mind. Rux ruined the surprise by actually showing himself in that top lane. I was going to say, a surprise Baron next team fight could have a really big impact on, just how many kills you can get before they widen up to it. But yeah, Rux goes top. He's just going to push that out. They know they have Baron now. And again, like, New World Eclipse has been forced into this defensive stance so far. I can't imagine them actually breaking that now that they're looking at a team not only trouncing them in gold, but now with a Baron.
Yeah, it's just kind of adding insult to injury. You're like, well, what's worse than going up against a team that's already far ahead of you? A team that does almost a 15-minute Baron. And that's what that early Oracles, like you were commenting on Atomic N, pretty early though, but still not quite enough vision able to stay out on the map. For NWE, as it was all cleared away, and then the Baron to follow. Kind of ballsy. I'm not sure exactly what I need to hashtag on Twitter for that, but it's definitely something that I should be commenting on, because Curse Academy getting it done, and it's like they're being rewarded at every single turn for the objectives that they.
Well, Dragon number 3 going to go the way of Curse Academy. That's going to be the Wither on top of Huang. Huang does have that Oracles, and now he doesn't. Did get off that Stranglethorn just at the end of it. That's going to be the Death Sentence into JD. Will the disengage comes out from from Gragas. It's not enough. But we do take down Captain Tran in response, but still a 2-for-1, and now the tower pressure is going to be mounting. Curse Academy is still looking extremely strong before the 20-minute mark.
All right, well, hopefully things are looking up a little bit better for Curse. They're just like, well, we're going to sacrifice you. Captain Tran, tank things up a little bit too much under turret. You can see Caitlyn just chunking things down under the turret because, Curse Academy, they're going for another dive.
Yeah, Zed's just going to try to do a little bit. Rux and Pobelter to get aggressive. The tower does not stand a chance. It's dead and dusted. And unfortunately, they just couldn't get that extra engage that they were looking for. But still, Baron, 3 dragons, 4 towers, 7 kills. It is so far a recipe to success. The question is, now can Curse, keep that and close it out? Or are we going to see, very LCS-like weeks where it's just like we have these amazing first games and then all of a sudden, what happened?
And that's actually, Chaucer's finding out Atomic End. He does have that Oracle's on. He's going to throw down the ultimate. Is that going to be enough to keep him alive for long enough? Going to get some follow-up with Kath and Tran coming in. Does look like Atomic End will live for now. Meanwhile, in the top lane, not quite the same case for Quas.
Yeah, not quite. Tran, however, is going to get in here as well, throwing down a little bit extra damage on top of Huang. But again, tower pressures. Towers are dropping like flies at this point. Gragas in this bottom lane. There is a ward here. He's going to try to take this blue, but Tran, he's going to say no thank you. That's going to be the smite. He steals it. The flash over with the belly bounce. It is going to be enough as Vayne is now there, but Vayne, she sees blood. She's looking for this kill. She's like, I want to grab this, but that's going to be the ult coming out from Tran as well. Will not be able to defeat that Wither. Top lane, however, we still got Curse Academy looking up, this tower damage. And look, I just left this tower rapid. It's already at 800 hit points.
They've definitely been pushing extremely hard. Rux and Altec both ranged. You're going to see Chaucer's come in there, grabs the ultimate onto Altec, triggers Rux to go in.
Yeah, Xiao throw. Oh, wow. Actually, great belly bounce there from Xiao. He does survive that one. Not entirely too sure about Altec at this point. Quas is going to get that shutdown spree. And now Rux has to go 2-on-1 up against Jarvan and Zed. There comes the Zhonya's. Will that be enough of a reset? Nice flash, but the Cataclysm was ready. But I'm not too sure Jarvan actually wanted that. Can we go 2-on-1? We can't. Quas able to get off that last attack. Mid lane, however, the tower is down. We got that exhaust coming out on top of Virus. So that will be defeating once again the final hour. And we haven't really seen a final hour coming out from Virus that has landed him really any kind of kills.
We saw him kite away Pobelter earlier on, but to be honest, in that last fight, he got withered and exhausted at the same time. Curse Academy are just like, we're going to send a giant scree to one guy on their team. Turns out that lucky winner was Virus, and he basically, like you said, just didn't really do anything there. Can say with all the debuffs there from Curse Academy, they definitely know how to negate the presence of an AD carry. That's kind of why you used to pick Nasus. This time around, instead of just having Wither, you kind of got to throw an exhaust on top of that. Either way, Virus not getting shut down by any means. He definitely isn't the 3-1-3 Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer that Altec has right now. And it's not just the farm and the kills, it's, I think, 3 dragons so far for Curse Academy. So they're definitely rolling the global gold. 3 dragons, 6 towers, 9 kills. Again, that recipe is just getting that much sweeter at this point. And again, 21 minutes in, you see the Phantom Dancer with the Infinity Edge. Typically, you see one or the other, just like we're seeing here with Virus. He does have that Blade of the Rune King. That's going to be the Wither, and that's going to be the death sentence, aptly named. Huang goes down, does not get off the Stranglethorns, but the box is going out as well, and that is going to be good night for JD Wu. We might not even be done yet. Quas is here, and he's just going to be trying to make a hasty retreat. Again, the Wither comes out, defeats this final hour from Virus. He has the tail between his legs, and that's going to be an inhibitor. All right, first inhibitor of the game does go down, and Curse Academy immediately just rolling up towards that top lane. You mentioned how the turret had 800 HP. Well, right now it has 0, and the second inhibitor turret could go down here for New World Eclipse. 2 inhibitors in one fell swoop of just a team fight that went their way. Virus going to get jumped on here. That's going to be the Condemn to pull out to the ult from Shao. Not exactly the best. Oh, it gets right through that Gragas. Curving bullets like the movie wanted. Altec takes it down Virus, and that's again just kills upon kills. It's very hard to keep people alive for 5v5s up against Curse, and now 12,000 gold up at the 22-minute mark. It is looking extremely strong for them to take game number 1 here. Does that make Altec Angelina Jolie?
I hope so.
I'll have to tweet that at him afterwards and see what the result is. But either way, the result of this game looking fairly one-sided towards Curse Academy. And I mean, NWE, we saw them punish Curse earlier for going too heavy onto their dives. This time around, though, there's Zhonya's hourglasses, needlessly large rods, and a whole host of incredible items for Curse Academy. We saw them take down the first dragon at about the 16-minute mark. Got a few more minutes, and about 3 minutes until that comes back up, and I can promise you, Curse Academy is like, hey, we're doing pretty well for the objectives this game. Not going to let one go to waste. They're going to be back on that in just a few minutes. Probably won't end the game until they have that. 12-6. We were looking at Rux. He had that 15-minute Zhonya's. He has the death cap. We're looking for the death cap now on top of Pobelter. Very similar builds. Pobelter, he gives no cares. This bottom lane. That's another tower going their way, and that's actually the flash out of JD Wu as well. So no flash, Flag and Drag, Cataclysm combo coming out. It's going to really limit his mobility. And once again, the Baron rears his ugly head, and I think Team Curse Academy is going to be putting him down real quick. All right, well, Baron going down, taken out in just a matter of seconds. With that advantage, Curse Academy, as if they needed another advantage, they're just going to run through the jungle, hoping to catch somebody out. They're going to pass over some wards that Atomic End's going to clear away. But the only inhibitor is going to be the one being pinged out right now in the bottom lane. Got Quas trying to push things out, but can he make enough of a difference? I'm guessing not, but Captain Trin may have something to say about this.
2 inhibitors down. Still looking strong here for Curse Academy to get this out. We've had, I don't know how many oracles, haven't really kept count of them, but there's almost been no minutes since about the 8-minute mark that Atomic End has not had an oracle. That's going to be the death sentence, using that to great advantage. We are going to get the Stranglethorn off this round after that box, but Huang does go down real quick. There's the Cataclysm and doesn't care. Double kill comes out for the Caitlyn. Looking for the triple, does land it. And now, once again, really hard to keep these guys alive for 5-on-5s. The good, this solid front line coming out from Curse Academy, just leading into a 7-1-5 Caitlyn, and that should probably be the game, Mr. Rapid.
Yeah, very impressive play by Curse Academy, controlling every objective from minute 1. Early Towers first bloods, and the GG is coming out. Curse Academy will take down the Nexus and the game for their first win in the Mobafire Challenger Series.
And Virus rage quits at the end. It's never complete without a rage quit. Good game, well played though. Curse Academy, very strong. Game number 1 of our lineup tonight. 50,000 gold in 25 minutes, an average of 2,000 a minute. You don't do anything for the first 2 of them in the game. Very impressive stuff, and a very well-deserved victory for them.